All right, welcome to the Chorus and the Chaos. This is a special bonus episode where the three of us get together and just simply talk about some things that most people may not even care about. However, what we're going to do today is talk about three of our favorite movies, three of our favorite songs, and three of our favorite saints that we would invite to a Christmas dinner. So everything is Christmas themed if you haven't picked that up yet. But the goal here is that we can give a little bit of an explanation as to why we like these movies or songs and why these particular saints at our shindig. How we're going to do it today is going to be a little odd. I'm just kind of making this up on the spot because apparently I'm the rule man at this point. But we are going to go round table discussion. So not each last one of us, but each one of us will give a favorite movie, and then we'll move on to the next person on the list. So I'll just set the rules here. We're going to have Jack go first.
All right.
Blake will go second.
One item at a time? One item at a time,
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then I'll go last here, just because you saved the best for last, right?
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bold.
That was bold, but...
That's bold. Okay,
so a man I could call king.
3 Christmas movies, 3 Christmas songs, and then 3 non-Bible saints that we would over. Like, we can't just say Paul or Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it's like...
Right.
I mean, certainly we would love that.
And we're assuming that these saints are resurrected. We're not just exhuming their remains for our Christmas table. Right.
How very Catholic of it.
That's when you go to Jude and you're like,
you guys like my John
Moses.
Calvin centerpiece that we've got here? That's disgusting. All right. No. So really, this is of no importance at all. It was just an excuse for us to be able to spend the evening together. So
yeah, it's our Christmas extravaganza.
So you find yourself to be
I should have brought some finger foods or something.
a Covenanter. This will probably not be a fun episode for you.
But if you can make it to the end, good on you.
Yeah.
All right. So Grayson, I'm going first. We're doing movies.
Yep. We're doing movies first.
Okay.
So Jack, you're
up.
So
three Christmas movies. I will pick one. My 3 favorite Christmas movies. The first one is a relatively newer movie. We've watched it the past 3 or 4 years, and every year I absolutely love it. And it is not spiritual whatsoever. I'm just going to put that out there. So,
right. So, I will say maybe, even because I'm looking at my list, and I think I maybe know some. We haven't talked about any, like, what we don't know on each other's lists and things like that. So, if you have this concept in your mind about us that we don't, that I don't know, that we're just more spiritual than maybe you think. I don't know. I feel bad saying that, but I don't want to disappoint you.
My movies are just
in some of the things that we've
video
picked,
recordings of me reading the Bible.
Right. That's perfect. Yeah, right. And that's actually coincidentally that's
home
my
videos.
3 as well, is those videos of Grayson. So
all home videos.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
just
So
our
my first one
podcast episodes.
Yeah.
My first movie is Klaus. Have you guys seen that movie?
Klaus?
It's a Netflix
No.
movie. Klaus. It's fantastic.
You're gonna have
It
to
is-
give me a rundown. I don't even know. I've never even heard of it. I don't think.
It is the one time a year we'll get Netflix. I'll buy it. We'll get it. In fact, we're planning to watch it next weekend. So it's a Netflix.
I'm out of here.
He's done. It is. I would love to buy it on DVD if it exists in DVD. It's a fantastic movie, and it's basically the origin story of Santa Claus.
Oh no, I
but
haven't seen that one.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And basically there's a postman, and the whole thing is built around the postman. Now, the story I describe it's you'll be like, that sounds dumb, but it's a really well-made movie.
No, it's actually it was quite enjoyable. The kids really enjoyed it. It's a good, clean movie. I remember.
Is it animated or is it live action?
Animated.
It is animated.
Oh, it's
yeah.
animated. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But
you have to have Netflix to watch it.
I've never seen it.
Well,
It's a Netflix
I'm not
movie.
a liberal, so.
You've seen it.
Are you morally obligated to buy a pirated version of it to keep from having Netflix?
That is a moral conundrum.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
maybe Jack, if you could just screen record it and send it to me, then I'll
hold up the phone, and you can
right,
watch.
like Russian movie theater style. It's like across.
So anyway, the short version, if you've never seen it, the dad is like the head postmaster of the world, and his son is just like doing nothing. He's just raking. He's like, I'm just going to live life. And his dad is like, no, you're going to make something yourself. And I'm sending you to this island of terrible people, and you cannot leave. You can't inherit any of the money until you have so many letters mailed, is what he says. Like he has to, and he goes there, and this place is just like awful. It's like the worst people. They're terrible. But what ends up happening is he meets this old man whose family died, and he makes toys. and they end up befriending him. And he kind of creates, he invents this thing. He's like, oh, well, if you send this guy a letter, he'll make you a toy. And the postman is like totally being manipulative, but throughout the whole thing, it's just really heartwarming. Like the whole town gets friendly and everyone loves each other, and it gets like the schools, like kids hate each other and then they start playing together. You see this whole transformation of the town through the kindness of, it's a sweet movie. Like it's a really nice movie. So that's my first one, Klaus.
All right.
Klaus. Okay.
K-L-A-U-S.
So +1 for Klaus,
Yes.
but -1 for Netflix.
Yeah. Back
All
to
right.
0.
That's on my do not watch holiday list.
Yeah.
Klaus.
Blake, you're up.
So I put mine in order. So I'll start at number 3.
Okay.
So number 3, I'm gonna go with Home Alone.
Oh,
That's a good one.
All right. So I mean, it's just for me, it's the unbridled violence that reminds me of Christmas. You know. So no, there is a weird connection I have with Home Alone though. So when I was a kid, we lived in Montana, and our grandparents lived in Oregon. Our grandparents had like 5 VHS tapes. And of those 5, 2 of them were Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. And so whenever we would come to visit Oregon, which wasn't super often, but whenever we came to visit Oregon and we were at my grandparents' house, no matter what time of year it was, we would watch Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 on VHS. And so like there's like this childhood connection too. And then on top of that, it's just I think it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I had Home Alone on my list as well, so I'll double up with you there. For me, it was always just you can't go wrong with the unbridled violence and just the sheer way he handles those guys. It's just beautiful.
Right.
I still picture the tarantula being put on his face.
Oh,
and
yeah,
just that
yeah.
blood curdling scream.
And the scream is
Yeah.
just hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's comic genius. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the whole
Home
movie
Alone
is
is
just so
one of
well
mine
done.
too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was gonna be my
Oh
next
man,
one, so.
yeah, we all 3 hit on that one then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just
So
a fantastic movie.
That's
I also
+3 for Home Alone.
always
That's a
wonder
+3.
what
Yeah.
did Kevin McAllister's dad do for a living, because that man was just filthy rich,
Yeah.
right? That massive home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What if he was a crook?
$112 for pizza.
He's
So
a mafioso.
we were watching. So I actually noticed something about Home Alone that I've never noticed before. At least I kind of, because I was thinking along those lines. Because you see like the conspiracy theories of like he must have been into some like shady stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's funny that when Marv is dressed as the cop at the very beginning, and he's looking, are you the Mr. McAllister that lives here and all that stuff? That he immediately goes to, what, am I under arrest or something? Like who says that to a cop? Yeah, like the first thing he says is like, yes, I'm like, am I under arrest or something? Like, am I being detained? Get out of my house, please. You know. So he's either really based,
libertarian,
right? So he's either really based or he's got a guilty conscience, and he was getting ready to draw on Marvin. Didn't even know it. Yeah. So
I'm going with organized crime.
Yeah, the vacation was just
could be, and the locale, the closeness to Chicago too, the proximity to Chicago. It makes sense.
It's true.
It makes sense.
So my second one was Home Alone. So Blake, you're back up.
So I'm back up
straight back to you.
Okay. So second one. This one's kind of obscure. The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, the 1985 claymation.
Is that a Mystery
one.
Science Theater?
No.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it was originally a book. It was written in 1902. It was originally a kid's book, and it's kind of like I was explaining to my wife today that I feel like it's the closest you can get to like the Lord of the Rings Christmas. And so it's another Santa origin story, but it's basically like, how does Santa become an immortal? And there's like all these other like immortals that bestow upon him immortality for his good deeds and things like that. And there's this whole plot of like these monsters that try to steal all of the presents and stop him from doing his good deeds. And he kind of does this like, he does this like world tour with the great Ak, who is like the main immortal. And he sees like the hardship of mankind like throughout the ages and all that stuff. And so there's like some cool scenes there. And it's all of that old, it's like that, it's filmed in like that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer style, you know,
Oh,
that kind of like
yeah.
clay, like statue, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not like, to me, of all of those style of films, to me, it's the best one. And it's got some banger songs. And it's just a really good movie. But it's like the least popular.
I've never heard of this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Of that set. So it's really good. But it's very like fantasy. It's like very like fantasy, like, you know, the elves and it's like the origin story of the reindeer and all that stuff as well. So
Interesting.
So yeah, we actually just watched it this evening.
Wow.
So that's
Nice.
a good one. Yeah. Yeah. The 1986 or 85. Because there was one, they redid it as animation in like 2000. That one's garbage. You got to watch the OG.
You gotta be a purist.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I'm a 1985 Life and Adventures of Santa Claus man. Yeah.
Wow.
None of this liberal.
There's
stuff.
two kinds of people out there.
Yeah, right. There really
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Three kinds: the 1985 people, the 2000 people, and the people that have never heard of that movie
Oh, there you go.
whatsoever.
Well, there you
yeah,
go. Jack and I are
yeah.
two of number 3. Yeah.
All right, so that's +1 for Life and Adventures of Santa Claus.
All right. My
I don't know why I'm keeping this tally, but
Are
Well,
you really
I mean-
keeping a tally?
Yeah, he's gonna
Wow, look
watch
at
the
that.
movies later. My second one on the list would be Nightmare Before Christmas.
Wow.
I've always just enjoyed it. I don't know why. I mean, there's aspects. It's technically a Halloween / Christmas mashup. But the thing that I always found just comical about the movie literally was him going into this Christmas world and just still acting like a terror, right? So as he's singing, there's children throwing snowballs instead of throwing heads, and he's like, "There's no monsters under the beds." But it's like his whole
Right.
framework is just bizarre because he lives in a world where everything's just crazy and trying to make you afraid. So I absolutely loved it as a kid, watching him go and deliver. Like, he kidnaps Santa Claus, delivers presents to the kids, and it's all like
think how many
everybody's worst
sermon
nightmare.
illustrations a good youth pastor could get out of that movie.
Yeah. Well, it's like you're seeing kids open up presents on Christmas Day, but they're like chomping plants, like coming alive at
right.
you and trying to kill
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Right.
In my morbid mind as a kid, I'm like, this is awesome. This is just
Right.
pleasurable to watch.
So this year was the first time I've ever seen Nightmare Before Christmas.
Really?
I watched it this
Okay.
year for the first
So
time.
this
since
is-
I was
so
like,
this
really?
is-
too this year.
Okay.
This is
I
an
haven't seen it in
interesting
20 years.
tie-in. This is an interesting tie-in because I said my grandparents had 5 VHSs. So another one was Nightmare Before Christmas, but we weren't allowed to watch it
Okay.
as kids, you know. So oddly, out of the 5 movies they had, like 3 of them were Christmas movies. One was Old Yeller, and then I don't remember what the other one was.
You
Something
can
like
watch this kid shoot his
Yeah.
dog, but not Nightmare Before Christmas.
which we did. Yeah, which we did. No, so I watched Nightmare Before Christmas for the first time this year, and I mostly because I've hated everything I've ever seen from Tim Burton.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
For, it is.
So
it is
I did not
wildly-
enjoy the film.
Oh,
I
that's okay.
didn't. I
That's
saw
a
it for the
minus
first. It was
1 for
like it says his own scoring.
Such an
system. It's just
arbitrary
kinda cool.
grading
Yeah.
system.
steamrolling this.
Right,
It's just like, and no.
So I think I saw it when I was a kid once, and Blake is a similar. My parents wouldn't let me watch it growing
Gotcha.
up.
Right.
Somewhere
see.
along the way, I saw it, and whatever.
There is like I would not let my I'm not saying anything about anybody or your children or whatever. Like I wouldn't let my kids
Look
watch
at-
it at this time.
Grayson,
Like,
look
there-
at the judgment.
like there's some morbid like there's some
Yes,
morbid
yes.
spooky things in there. You know.
Oh, yeah.
There is. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so to give you a little bit of a background, I grew up in a home that was distinctly non-Christian, so this was
Right.
like a sanitized film that I watched as a kid.
Right.
I look
right,
back
right.
on some things as in my childhood. I'm like, why
Yeah.
in the world would you let even an adult
And it's
watch
funny
that,
where
let alone
yeah,
a kid?
yeah. And it's
Like
funny
Old Yeller.
where parents drew lines in the
I know.
90s too. Because my parents, again, we didn't grow up distinctly Christian, but there were like hard lines on things we couldn't watch. And then other things, it's like, why were we allowed to watch that?
Yeah.
This is
Same here.
horrifying.
it was.
Yeah,
It was
right.
very inconsistent.
So
Yeah.
I think purely for me, it was just it's a nostalgia aspect of it where it,
Yeah. Nostalgia
there-
is a strong flavor.
it really
It
is. Yep.
It goes a long way. Give a tally for nostalgia, Blake. Give
How many points should we award for nostalgia? So
5.
again, I have such an arbitrary point system that it's just whatever. So far, We have +3 for Home Alone. Life and Adventures of Santa Claus has 1 gold star. And no, I don't know. And
he holds it up. He's actually got a gold star there.
Yeah,
I've got my stickers
Nightmare
here.
Before Christmas has a D-. So
All right. Well,
yeah,
there will be some people that like that film.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's a cult classic, right?
It is.
It
When
is.
I will say this,
It's made its way into the Christmas canon, so it's a
Yes.
cash cow. It'll outlive all other,
Yeah.
all other Christmas movies.
I did when I watched it this year again, first time in 20, 30 years. I was like, wow, this is like really creative. Like I was from the artistic sense. I was like, this is wildly creative.
No, that's true.
And
That is true.
like I had that distinct impression. Like I can see why this stands alone. Like I didn't love it.
And
but
to be fair, What's This is a banger.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't say.
What's
I
this?
also wouldn't say I love it. It's not one that I
Right.
look at and I have to watch every year or anything like that. It's just still one I enjoy, just because.
But it was top 3 Christmas movies.
Oh, I was
recent.
thinking through all sorts of different ones.
Yeah.
It's like I could go
Yeah.
this way or go that way, but I
Yeah,
went
we
the
have our
nostalgia
own.
point.
Yeah, we have our own filters. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. All right.
All right, my third one. We got to move along here if we're going to get through all this because I think when the Christmas songs.
It's a bonus episode, Jack.
That's true. No one cares.
We don't even have. Nobody's even listening right now.
It's just our
True.
moms.
It's just us talking. At this
Yeah, they're like Lord of the Rings, Santa Claus, Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I thought this was a Christian Minecraft server.
See you guys in January.
Yeah, losers.
So my third one, I had a really hard time picking a third movie. So I did something. I picked a TV show,
Well, that's not
Christmas
fair.
episode. Yeah,
That's a
Is
cheat.
it all the Christmas episodes of Friends?
it is not all the Christmas episodes. No, it was one that I thought that I'm going to try and promote. All right, because I think people would really enjoy it. It's clean. But there's a show when I was a kid called Newhart. You guys remember Newhart?
No.
Came
Never
out-
heard
it
of
was
it.
early 80s.
That's with Bob Newhart, right?
Yes. So he
Yeah,
runs an inn. They runs an inn in like Vermont.
You're right.
When I was a kid, my parents watched it and I loved it. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I thought about it, and Lauren and I were talking about it. And my wife Lauren, she was like, "I watched that as a kid."
Yeah,
And so we went and found the DVDs, and we'll like watch them pretty regularly.
right.
The first like 3 or 4 seasons are genuinely hilarious. Like the humor holds up. Some stuff doesn't. The humor doesn't really translate decades. It
Right.
legitimately holds up. In the first season, and you can watch it on YouTube. It's free.
I think and I think last year you sent me the Christmas episode
Yeah.
of Newhart, and we watched it. Yeah,
Did you enjoy it?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
It's
If I'm
funny.
remembering correctly, yeah.
It's funny. So
It's
the,
like
the
the
first
biggest
season,
answer
there's
you could get
there's an
back.
episode called
pretty
"No
sure.
Home, No Room in the Inn."
I don't remember hating
I don't.
it.
Yeah.
So
distinctly not.
I didn't
mean,
fall
yeah.
asleep. So
right.
but so they run this in and they have all these skiers come in, but all the snow, like the snow's bad and stuff. It's so bad that
Right.
the skier and all the skiers are irritated. But it's really funny because then this guy shows up and he and his wife are pregnant and they need
Yeah.
a place to stay.
Yeah, okay, I
And-
did see that.
And there's
yeah.
just like all these like
right. and
it's
the
very
whole-
clean,
yeah.
very respectful. Like there's one line that cracks me up because he's like, "Well, we don't have any room to put you. You don't have any room to put us." He's like, "On behalf of innkeepers everywhere, I think we owe you this one."
Yeah, right. Yeah, to find a
'Cause
place.
his
for
name
the
is
pregnant
Joe.
woman. Yeah,
the guy's
Yeah,
name
right,
is Joe,
right. yeah.
and they're really it's funny. It's genuinely funny. We watch it every Christmas. So No Room at the Inn, Newhart. It's on YouTube for free. Very funny.
That's a +1
Sweet.
for No Room at the End.
He makes the list.
So my third one, which is my number 1 movie, and actually is my favorite movie of all time. So not just Christmas movie. Favorite movie of all time. I could watch it at any point during the
Can
year.
I guess? Wait? Can Grayson and I guess?
You don't know. I think you might think you know what it is. What do you think it is?
I was just gonna say Elf because everyone says Elf.
Oh no, no. I thought you were going to say Rocky.
I don't hate Elf.
which kind of is a Christmas movie and a Thanksgiving movie, and they pretty much cover every holiday in Rocky, but it's not Rocky. It is, which I also really like Rocky, but Muppet Christmas Carol.
oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Muppet
Yeah.
Christmas Carol is just, I mean, in my mind, it cannot be improved upon. It's the greatest telling. It's the greatest Muppets movie, in my opinion. It's the greatest telling of the Christmas Carol. I love how Michael Caine just plays it so straight. Like he's so serious throughout the whole, like,
Muppets are
professional of
absolutely ridiculous,
professional.
and he's like,
Right. Right, and he's just playing it like
Should've
that.
won.
It's just the most important role that he's ever gotten.
yeah,
The songs are bangers. It's hilarious. There's lots of little, yeah. I mean, Muppet Christmas Carol, definitely.
Yeah,
I watched that with my
that's
kids,
a
or I
good
tried
one.
to watch it like
Mhm.
10 years ago, and it terrified them.
Oh yeah.
well,
And I haven't tried since, but maybe we should try again.
Right. I mean, there
Jack's
is.
kids start crying.
Well,
again.
it's a
He's
ghost
like,
story. I mean,
I know,
it's supposed to, like, there is supposed to be a little bit of spookiness. But my kids, I think, have seen it to the point that they've been they've been sanitized to the ghost aspect. Like, they'll just sing along with the Marley and Marley song. The Ghost of Christmas Past does still give me the creeps a little bit.
Yeah.
The little, like,
See,
doll face,
Like,
wispy one.
you know, grew up watching that. I was watching like Scrooged.
Oh yeah, no, I was watching. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Scrooge
Yeah.
too. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, right,
As a
right. Yeah.
kid,
So,
you know,
right. Yeah.
yeah,
All of the renditions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So anyway, that's my third one.
All right, my number
It's a good
3 is I actually, to my shame, a couple years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, Becca's like, we should watch this movie. And I'm being intentionally vague, but I was like, yeah, I watched it as a kid. I really just don't like that movie. And she goes, can you give me the storyline? And I butchered it horribly. So what came out of that is I was then, you know, coerced to watch the movie with her. But It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful, beautiful movie.
Yeah.
One of those rare moments where I watched it and kind of went into it as a curmudgeon, and by the end of it, I had
Right.
single tear cascading down the cheek. I'm like, oh, that's just lovely.
Yeah.
But every
Right.
aspect of it, where you look at it, I mean, there's things that I can say biblically I disagree with, but
Like that every
heartwarming-
time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Well,
You
no,
don't
that
believe
one's
that?
straight from
Right.
you know, or
Yeah.
Clarence says he's, you know, like pretty much
Yeah.
everything Clarence does, right? But
Yeah. Right.
just to
Clarence
see,
the angel.
Good old Clarence.
yeah.
Had a boy, Clarence.
But I
Yeah.
think it strikes a chord because you have a man who's trying to provide for his family. Everything goes wrong
Yeah.
that it could. He's then
Right.
contemplating suicide. All those different things that just kind of hit at points, especially as a father, where I looked at
Right.
that and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is just heart wrenching.
Yeah. Right.
But the way it resolves, it's like that classic way older movies resolve, where everything is actually just wonderfully working out.
Yeah.
But they did it in such a sweet way. As the town comes together, and I see their
Yeah.
appreciation for this man who thought he was just a waste of space to everybody.
Right.
So
Yeah. That is a great movie. Yeah.
It is a good movie. I'm a little ashamed to say that I watched it for the very first time 2 years ago. I had never seen it.
Right. And I think that's when I saw it, because I had seen it, like, bits of it as a kid. And I just remember thinking as a kid, like, black and white movie.
Yeah. It's,
No guns. I'm out.
Yeah,
I don't
no
I'm not
reason.
interested. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. But then as an adult, like, sitting down and watching it, the whole thing, as a husband, as a father, you know,
Yes.
things like that. Like, it
Yeah.
hits different. I could see
Yep.
where a kid would be like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but it's a good grown up movie. So very
is. Absolutely.
sobering. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I go
That's
from
a good
Nightmare
one.
Before
That's a good
Christmas
pick.
to that one.
Yeah, that's a good pick, Grayson. Yeah. So we'll move
All right,
1 star
on to-
over to Nightmare Before Christmas, and we'll give 5 thumbs up to the It's a Wonderful
See,
Life.
that just totally outweighed the other one. So I
5 angel wings.
there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
5
All right.
life insurance certificates.
5 vehicles careening over the bridge.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
5
now
lassoed
on to-
moons. Okay, I'm done.
We
Yeah.
5 swirling things in the river, whatever that is.
We just keep going.
yeah. It's like,
Just keep going.
people are like, okay, we're done.
All right. What's our next category here?
Songs. The next category is
Okay, yeah.
songs.
This is the one where people are going to be disappointed in me personally, I think. So
Huh?
we'll
Is
say
it Dominic the Italian donkey?
Dominic scribbling
the
it off
Italian
my
Christmas
list.
donkey. It's the best song ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of my Christmas songs are Italian themed. Strangely enough. No, not really.
All right.
So who's up? Jack, do you want to go
should go
first
like-
on this
yeah,
one?
No, no,
first
no,
again?
no. I won't. I'm.
Oh, he doesn't want to go first.
Bated breath.
I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go. Okay, so I did the top 3 again. So my third one, again, nostalgia factor, song most people have never heard of. I actually sent it to our chat group today. And I would say it's arguably the best Christmas song of the 80s. And it's Just Not Christmas If I Can't Spend It With You by Ronnie Millsap, 1986. I absolutely love that song. It's like, it's all the elements that you want in a Christmas song, except for the actual reason for Christmas. And also, it just hits all of that 1980s feel. I don't know. I just really like it. And then as a kid, like my dad loved Ronnie Millsap. And so we listened to Ronnie Millsap all the time. So the Christmas album, it always came out in December. And that was like my favorite song on there. And I still like it. It's still a good song. It's about, a lonely guy but yet it's oddly upbeat that he's, messed up his relationship and he's trying to win this woman back. And it's just not Christmas if it's not spent with her. So
Yeah, that's nice.
No. That's nice. Moving on. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. It's an interesting choice that you would pick that one. But, okay. All right, Grayson, it's you, man. What do you got?
My first one is "O Come, Emmanuel."
Yeah.
Just one of my all-time favorite Christmas songs.
Yeah.
If you don't know much about the history behind it, it's talking about the reality of when Herod sent men to go kill all the infants. So it's very, very dark in that sense. But the beautiful aspect of the song is that they're looking at it and crying out to the one who is to come to make all things right. And so there's that tinge of sadness, but there's that tinge of sweetness too. Musically, it's just a beautiful song.
Oh yeah.
Especially when you get harmonies working through it. But it's a somber one. But it's always been one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. That's actually that was one of mine. O Come, Emmanuel.
Okay.
It is.
Nice.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Nice.
That
So I went with 80s heartbreak. You guys went with deep theological.
Yeah,
All right.
well.
All right. I got you. Yeah. All right. Did you have anything you wanted to say about it?
No,
Jay?
Grayson said
No. Yeah.
said everything
It
I'd
is.
say,
It is
yeah.
a beautiful song.
It is.
So my second favorite song, which is kind of a newer one, it's kind of a newer Christmas song. It's by Sovereign Grace Music. There Blooms a Rose in Bethlehem.
Hmm.
I cannot listen to that song without tearing up at the end, no matter how many times I listen to it.
Is that
it's
on
just
the
such a-
Prepare Him Room album?
It is just such a beautiful song, and it's so well performed, and the lyrics
What
are
album?
just,
Like, what album is that on? I don't.
I don't know. I got it on Spotify, so I don't even pay attention to the
Oh.
album. I just pulled it off. Because the first time I heard it at church. Somebody sang it as a special, like at a candlelight service. And then I was like, wow, I really like that song.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then
What was it called
Yeah,
again?
There Blooms a Rose in Bethlehem.
They're bloom. I'm gonna have to listen. I don't know that
Yeah.
song, but
Oh, man,
I like a
it's-
lot of Sovereign Grace music. I
It's
like
beautiful.
stuff.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. So that's
great.
my number 2.
All right. My number 2 is Joy to the World. Just another old classic hymn that it's just a fun one to sing.
It's not really a Christmas song.
No, well, it is. I mean, when else do you sing it?
When the Lord returns.
Is that Three Dog Night song?
Right? Is that the Three Dog Night song?
I don't even know what that is.
Wait, maybe I have do I have the wrong song? What song did you say?
Joy to the World. Joy
Yeah,
to
isn't Joy to the-
world.
isn't Joy to the World
about- Boys and
Savior
girls.
came.
All
No.
the fish places in the deep blue sea.
yeah, I think you're confused, Grayson. Yeah, I think Jack's right on what you meant there. No, but isn't Joy to the World about the second coming of the Lord? Not the
No,
Three
it
Dog
talks
Night
about.
version.
I think it talks about both, right? So it's both.
The
and.
Savior
It's
reigns.
yeah, talking
Yeah,
about
the
a first
Savior reigns,
Advent
yeah.
and second.
I think, because I think it was written about the second Advent, but it's sung at Christmas.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful song. I didn't
Well,
mean
it
to
also has in mind like a
detract.
All right. So
You
in
know,
the
the
comments, maybe somebody
triumphant singing
can
of the
leave us some.
angels in Luke.
Yeah. Right.
I'm just going to make
So
a
fun-
theological significance to it that's not there, and say it's
That's the
about
only
the
way you're
first
going to
coming
get
as
points
well.
in Blake's
Yeah.
system.
I don't care what the author intended.
Yeah.
It's what I'm saying is it's a Christmas song.
If you
Yeah.
approach it with the right hermeneutic, you can just
Yeah,
clearly
exactly.
see this. Yeah.
Yeah, what you guys didn't see is literally an hour before we recorded this, we started talking about hermeneutics and things like that. And so that was that probably would have been a more profitable bonus episode. But instead, we're going with Nightmare Before Christmas and 1980s Christmas breakup songs.
Yeah.
So
It was actually a really good discussion.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
all three of us were very edified. So, but
Yeah.
you guys get this.
Sorry.
We're
Yeah.
sorry.
right. But you get Three Dog Night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fun fact.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, I was driving by one of the casinos in Tulsa,
Mhm.
and I saw Three Dog Night was playing, and I knew my dad liked him, so I invited him up. And me and my dad and I went and saw Three Dog Night in concert.
Wow.
This year.
What was that like?
You know, they're really old,
Yeah, right.
really old. It was fine. I'd only know like 2 songs by them.
Yeah.
They were an odd band. Like they were more of like a vocal boy band. Like the music was very vocal, not rocky like kind of rock music like I expected.
Hmm.
The other thing that was funny, and I'll rabbit trail, but they were kind of old, right? The singer, I mean, he's up there, right?
That their big
He-
hits were in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
right.
kept like saying the same. It was really amusing to me. He kept saying the same like Billboard facts, like he had never said it before. Like so every 3 songs, like, well, by the way, we're the only band to have so many #1 hits. Like da 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 da. But he said that like 4 times, like he'd never said it the first time. It's like he was
Right, right,
forgetting
right.
stuff.
And the fans, they had forgotten, so they were still singing.
Everybody there has dementia.
Yeah.
So,
I was the only one who was like, wow,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, we're doing this again.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, these guys could really tear up the senior center for sure.
Let me say for the listener here, I do not frequent casinos. I don't go to casinos because anyone's
sure.
like,
only when washed
Only
out
when Three
60s
Dog-
bands are there.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you
They
can't
have
get
a-
enough
yeah.
stuff on your Netflix account, huh? Just-
When I've had my fill of Netflix depravity, I
Yeah.
meander on down to the
Meander.
casino
let's play the slot machines today.
so that singing elders can entertain me. Yes. Wow.
All right.
Gambling, don't mind if I do.
All right. I don't even know where. I don't even know
I'm
where
on
we
my
were
second
now.
song. Yeah. I'm
Okay,
on-
second song.
Yeah. Blake, you're number 3 now. Oh, no. never mind, we're
Deliver-
skipping Jack.
Yeah, that's all
Sorry,
right.
go ahead.
Deliver Us by Andrew Peterson on his Behold the Lamb of God album.
Was that's also on the Prince of Egypt, right?
No.
Deliver us.
Different,
the
same
Promised
name,
Land?
different song.
Right.
So
Yeah,
the Deliver Us, if you don't have the Andrew Peterson Behold the Lamb of God album, it is an absolute masterpiece. Absolute masterpiece. So the whole album, beginning from the beginning, he's like, let's tell a story. And then he walks through, it's very covenantal, ironically, give it back to our earlier discussion, but he walks through the promises of scripture in song, and it tells this whole story about the coming of Christ. And the Deliver Us song is like, I wrote down some lyrics here, so I'll just read. He says, our enemy, our captor, and this is looking at Israel being imprisoned in Egypt and the parallels that we have in Christ.
Yeah.
He says, our enemy, our captor is no Pharaoh on the Nile. Our toil is neither mud nor brick nor sand. Our ankles bear no calluses from chains, yet, Lord, we're bound. Imprisoned here, we dwell in our own land. Our sins, they are more numerous than all the lambs we slay. Our shackles, they were made with our own hands. Our toil is our atonement, and our freedom is yours to give. So Yahweh, break this silence if you can. Deliver us, O Yahweh, hear our cry, and gather us beneath your wings tonight. Like, it's just this prayer of Israel being imprisoned in their own sin, like thinking about Babylon and looking
Right.
at Israel and just praying.
Now, is that
for the Lord to
national
deliver us.
Israel or is that
Or
spiritual Israel?
Yeah.
Only national, and it's only
Right,
national.
right.
So
One of my
I
favorite
I can't
from a
really
covenantal
enjoy it
guy.
as a Gentile.
One of
but-
my favorite
Yeah.
Christmas traditions has become in the last few years hearing Jack talk about this album because it
Every year,
just-
that's true, yeah.
it's the good news of Andrew Peterson is being spread throughout the land. Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes
that's
he
true.
calls us up and just sings the songs to us, and we just
And then
it's
I
like,
can go
okay.
to bed that night.
Yeah, right. No, it is a good album. It is a good album.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, it definitely
For sure.
is. All right, Blake, number 3 for you.
Let's see. Oh, Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
That's a good
Charles
one.
Charles Wesley. Yeah, I mean, it's just, just fantastic.
Yep,
Fantastic
it's a
song. Little triumphant. It's got a little prayer in it too. So
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah, that's
Very
my
good.
favorite. That's probably my favorite Christmas hymn, I would say.
Yeah.
For sure.
I liked my number 3 one was King's Kaleidoscope. They did a song set to Auld Lang Syne, or however you pronounce that, New Year's Eve type song.
Mhm.
But it's based off of one of the Psalms where if we would build the house and yet
right.
you know, our labors are in vain
Right.
if the Lord is not building the house, right?
Right. Let nothing of our efforts stand.
Yes.
Right. What is the name of that song though? I'm trying to
The
remember.
King's Kaleidoscope one or the original?
Yeah, the the King's Kaleidoscope one. 'Cause
I
I know
don't
the
know.
tune, and then the actual.
Yeah, the actual is Auld Lang Syne or Sign.
Right.
And so I'm looking it up right now. All glory be to Christ. Yes. Just a
Yeah,
beautiful song.
yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Is that your song that you picked?
Yep. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on my number 3. Because I
don't
mean,
know
you can
that
only
song.
sing
I'll
it
have to
really
listen to
one
Is that
time a year.
is that a Christmas song?
I count it as one.
Yeah. Grayson's just making
I'm
any
just-
song
again,
a
I'm-
Christmas song. You know. Yeah. Right.
Any
My
song
third
can be
song
a
was
Christmas
happy.
song.
My
if
third
you
song was
try hard
Happy
enough.
Birthday for obvious reasons. Right. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I'm a
Jesus'
December
birthday.
baby, so yeah. Everybody gave me gifts in one fell
Yeah.
swoop.
Oh man. Did you have that when you were a kid?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Aunts and uncles
Yeah.
would be like, "This is a combined gift for your birthday and Christmas," and it's like, "So
Yeah.
you're cheap,
And it
aren't
cost
you?"
jealous
us
of
half
them?
of what we would spend
Yeah.
on the other kids. Yeah.
As a grown up, I'm like, that's a man.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
Grayson, but that's a sweet deal for the for
It,
the,
it,
for the
for
aunts
them,
and
it
uncles.
is. It's like, especially
Yeah.
when you add more kids to the mix, and you're like, "Well, it's kind of expensive around this time of year as it is." there,
Yeah.
bucko."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks to be you to
so
be
sorry
born
that
in
Jesus'
December.
birthday is crowding out your birthday. Yeah.
It's awfully selfish of you to,
Right.
make a big deal. About
Easter
yourself,
has
but,
been on
hey.
Easter has been on my birthday a few times, and it's like nobody
Yeah,
cares.
Silas
Nobody
gets
cares about
that
Blake's
too.
birthday in the face of the resurrection of our Lord and Savior. You know, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that's true.
right. You don't need any
Nobody's getting
gifts.
together
You
for
receive the
you.
greatest gift. And I cry. Yeah,
It's all
that's
true,
good,
though.
yeah, that's a good song. Yeah, good song.
What is it? Say it one more time, Grayson, because I'm gonna listen to it.
All
I've never
glory
heard
be
of
All
to
it.
glory
Christ.
be to Christ.
King's
All glory be to
Kaleidoscope.
And those are the
Yeah.
guys who cuss in their worship songs. Is that the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And this one's got a few, so it's
at least like-
Jack's out for Jack's out for blood now for
These
his
guys are coming after
you're gonna
me.
make
Yeah,
it
right.
cracks about Netflix? All right, it's
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
yeah. So you're swearing worship leader singers? Yeah, right.
It's real spiritual,
Wow.
Grayson. Just
I'm
Merry-
actually
Merry
the more you
Christmas.
guys talk, the more I'm feeling good about my 80s Christmas breakup song. So, right. So,
All right.
okay.
My third one is "Labor of Love" by Andrew Peterson.
Andrew Peterson.
Oh, he's
Same
got a
album.
twofer there.
Right. My favorite Christmas book is the insert in the Andrew Peterson album. My
Winged
favorite.
Feather Saga by Andrew Peterson, and
It's pretty solid.
favorite
Not
Saint
gonna lie.
Andrew
Hey,
Peterson,
I would actually just have Andrew Peterson over for Christmas dinner 3 times in a row.
and he could sing to the whole family.
Oh man.
Andrew, this is a song that my friend Grayson liked, but could you sing it to us and just clean out some of the cuss words? And
Yeah, maybe sanitize that a bit for us Christians.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, and just so we are clear, that song does not have any swearing in it.
No,
So,
not
Yeah.
not a one.
right.
Yeah.
That was
So-
just some weird thing that King's Kaleidoscope did to try to prove a point. It was like
Like
when Jeff
10 years ago
Durbin
or something.
was
Yeah.
preaching about swearing that one time. And
Yeah.
it was 45 minutes of build up of how he was going to swear. And then he swore, and then that was pretty much the end of the sermon.
Well, it's like when you turn 18 and your parents are like, "All right, you can say one swear word," and so you just scream it.
This is a long-held Grayson Gilbert family tradition,
like-
all right? You get one swear word, so pick it and choose it wisely.
Most everybody else
Buy your
is like,
cigarettes.
wait,
say
wait,
your
wait,
one
wait.
swear word.
Get your bottle of gin out. Take
Here's
a puff off your cigar, and then you can
Here's your-
swear at the dinner table after
Yeah.
you've eaten your spaghetti, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know why I picked that accent for that, but hey.
We're gonna need you to choose if you're a Marlboro man or a Camel man. Right?
Oh, Lucky Strike's unfiltered. Good for you.
Wow. We grew up in very
man.
different homes, Grayson.
Yeah, well.
Wow.
You get
There are things I'm
You
sure
know,
my
guys,
mom's
like when you
why
get to
did-
choose your one swear word. Oh man.
Oh,
Okay.
that's not normal, huh? Weird. Okay,
No.
never mind.
Okay. Okay. Well, that about sums up our Christmas episode. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
my,
man.
my poor mom is just going to be mortified if she ever hears this. So
Well,
twice in
She
one
never should have let you
episode,
say that swear word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Dad was ahead
That's
of the
bonus
home, right?
content if you want to find out what the swear word was. It's good. There's behind a paywall. Yeah. Yeah. Also, look for the new T-shirt. What's your Christmas swear word that we have in the shop?
Oh my gosh.
All right. Anyway. All right. Well, I'm totally lost. We're
Yeah, now we're
Labor of love.
moving
Oh,
on.
it
to
was
the-
Jack's. It was
Yeah.
Okay, we're on to our Jack. Were you done talking about your?
Let me be
Andrew
spiritual
Peterson.
here. So
Yours.
let me rein this
Yeah.
back in. And
Yes.
then we'll
Yes.
talk
You're
about it. So-
Andrew Peterson. Yeah.
So there's a line in this song. So the whole song is, if you've never heard it, it's kind of a retelling. You think about Silent Night, right? The whole song starts off though. So it was not a Silent Night. It's telling about the birth of Christ. It's a beautiful
Right.
song. And there are some lines like literally almost every time I hear it, I tear up. I just think it's so incredible. But the lyrics are, it's just describing the situation.
Hey, what's the name of the song again, Jack?
Labor of Love.
Labor.
Andrew
I'm gonna
Peterson.
write that down. Yeah.
He doesn't sing it, but he wrote it.
Okay.
He says, "Noble Joseph by her side, calloused hands and weary eyes. There were no midwives to be found on the streets of David's town. In the middle of the night, he held her and he prayed." So you got this Joseph caring and comforting Mary. And then this line comes in. It says, "Shafts of moonlight on his face, but the baby in her womb was the maker of the moon. He was the author of the faith that could make the mountains move." Just this idea that the moonlight that was shining that night
Right.
was created by the baby in her. Like that, just
Mhm.
beautiful, just
Right.
incredible. So
It's actually, it's funny you mentioned that because that's one of the things that I love to carry through like the entire life of Christ
yeah,
is how many things he comes into contact with that he's the creator of those things. And so like if you take, for example, that the Lord knits you together in your mother's womb, that the hands of those Roman soldiers that he knit together
yeah,
in their mother's womb are the things that
Yeah.
pinned him to the cross and nailed him, to the
Yeah.
tree that he grew, and things like that. So
yeah.
there's all kinds of like just
Yep.
poetic
Just
beauty
Beautiful,
in that.
like
yeah.
just
Right.
it's
Well,
beautiful.
I think that's Octavius Winslow quote, right? Where he talks about just
I don't
the same points that you're making. Where he's
Yeah,
talking
right,
about
right. Yeah.
literally, God's
Probably-
superintendent care over all of creation
Yeah.
was such that he nurtured the very sapling that he would be hung on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think, a lot of people have run that out, like, 'cause I think there's even like I'm trying to think, isn't there even like a kid's Christmas book of like the treasure chest, the cross, and it's like the tree. It's about the tree. It's like a
I think
kid's
there's an
Christmas
old Ronnie
story.
Millsap song where
Oh
No,
Yep.
that's true. Yeah. The old Ronnie Mill. That's what it was. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I think
No,
I know
there was
exactly
something.
what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
there was
though,
something
where
about
it's
the
like
tree. It was like
the
the
trees are
manger. It was the wood that was the wood that was used for the manger. The
Oh,
wood
I've
that
heard
was
that.
used
Yeah,
for
yeah.
something else, and then like for the
holding the
I don't know.
gifts, or yep,
Yeah, something like that.
yeah,
So
very
wood that was
beautiful
carved
imagery
into the
of it,
table.
yeah.
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 All right, so our third
final-
segment. Final
So
segment.
you thought those first two categories were long. This
Yeah.
one.
We gotta make this
So
one quick, though, because
our premise was you're having Christmas dinner with your family, and you can have 3 saints of the past over for dinner, and they cannot be biblical saints. So you can't say like Moses, or you can't say, Andrew Peterson or something like that. So, no, I'm just kidding. Andrew Peterson, who was and is, and yeah. Okay. Who wants to go? Oh, Grace, I think you need to go first because
Yeah, I think you should go first.
Yeah. And
All
do you
right.
want to just give all three of your
Yeah,
people?
I think so.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, for one, how do you not have St. Nicholas on there, right? I mean, you have to have him on that list.
Okay,
But I also
okay.
included Anselm of Canterbury and Athanasius. Yeah, I figured
Wow.
3 old school church history figures, 2 of which are ready to brawl, right? And then another one who just wrote some seminal works in church history,
Right.
talking about why the God
Right.
Man. That's Anselm's probably most famous title. But the reality there, it's like I think they would just be fun dinner guests at a certain point. Theologically, you'd be able to
You
talk
just
about.
want to see a fight, don't you? Like,
Well, it's like, but you got 2 of them that are ready to punch heretics. So
Right.
when
Which
your
is
aunt
yeah.
comes over and
right.
talks about women pastors, I mean,
Right. And
got
it
a
wouldn't be a
whole-
Gilbert family Christmas without a fist fight, too.
No,
so,
no.
right?
especially with kids swearing at the dinner table. I
It's
mean,
your time to get to use your one swear word. Yeah.
yeah.
No, those are good choices. So, like, those 3 never even crossed my mind. So, those are great.
Yeah.
Those are great choices.
That's really good,
For
yeah.
sure. Yeah. And why did you say you would have Athanasius? Just because?
Oh, he's ready to brawl too. But also, he's just such
Right.
a huge figure in church history,
yeah.
right? So, I mean, the classic debate in the substance or deity of Christ, right?
Yeah.
I would just love to be able to pick that guy's brain, right?
Right.
So, literally, that's where you get the phrase. There's one iota or iota, as some people would pronounce it,
Mhm.
but one iota of difference, right, between
Right.
the actual pure substance and equality of Christ with the Father and Spirit, or as Arius, not Arius, I'm sorry, Pelagius. I'm literally drawing a blank at this point. Yeah, I'm sorry. My mind
Was it
just went
Andrew
complete-
Peterson by chance?
It may have been on his.
yeah.
No,
First
I'm
Council of
literally mixing up my
Nicaea.
church history figures at this point because it was Nicholas with Arius and Athanasius stood against. It had to have been Pelagius.
I think it's
think-
Pelagius. Yeah, I'm looking it
because
up
he's
now.
dealing with like the Manichaean or not Manichaean controversy, but basically what stemmed into the Manichaeans at that point from Pelagius, and then either one, either way, both of those guys would just. I mean, they're stalwarts of the Christian faith and stood up for pure
Yeah.
doctrine.
Those are some early boys too, so
Yep.
that's good. Yeah.
Oh, Athanasius was Arius. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
so I did mix it up
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So he,
it's good you're having him over for dinner. You could get this cleared up.
Right.
yeah. Apparently, I need to bone up on my church history too, because there's a couple of guys that are probably listening to this, being like, it's
Somebody's
clear
throwing
that
books
you
around
are
in the car.
more
Yeah.
concerned
If you
about
weren't-
swearing at the dinner table than.
If you weren't so concerned watching Tim Burton movies, maybe you'd have more time to get into your church history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I get those guys confused too, and I've read several church fathers, and I get them confused. Yeah,
Right.
so don't feel bad for that.
That's why I give them
Nah.
all nicknames that only I understand. So
Athy Attaboy.
keeps it clear. After boy, there he is. Yeah. There's my guy. Yeah. Yep. Nice. Good,
All right.
solid choices.
Yeah, those
All right,
are really
Jack.
good. That's really good. Am I up?
Or I can, whatever.
I'll go ahead and go.
Okay.
So my first one is Martin Luther. I just
Okay.
think he would be a fun person to have over for dinner.
How did Martin Luther feel about Christmas? Because I was
That's a
also
question. I don't
running
know.
that. I was also running that through, like, with some other guys
Like, you don't want to
Of,
cut
like,
dinner.
who, like, in that sense of, like, you know, the Catholicism and the Mass and all that stuff. That
Yeah, that's a good
if
point.
if there was any, specifically if you're inviting them over for Christmas dinner, if they'd be like, no, or if they're just going to yell at you the whole time.
So you
yeah.
thought way more critical than I did. I was just thinking
Yeah.
this guy would have some fun stories.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
that
You
was
know
kind of my
who's
thing
fun?
with Luther.
Martin
have some
Luther's
good-
fun.
I think he would be fun.
Right.
right.
Maybe we can go
Right.
out and drown the Baptists later.
Sits Martin Luther down and he looks at your children and says, "Let me tell you about the Jews and their lies."
Yeah, we'll smack
Wow.
down the peasants' revolt.
Oh no! Let's Uh-oh.
Christmas dinner.
Martin,
got
I need to see you in the
real
other room,
awkward.
please. Yeah, I need to see you in the other room. So the
So-
kids, they're not really up on the Jews and their lies. Let's just keep that kind of on the down low.
Man, I still
Yeah.
think about that. It's like what a horrible way to end your ministry.
An
Like that's
incredible.
the last thing you
read-
remember
so-
for.
So I think I read somewhere here recently in some of the stuff I was studying that book, and I never remember reading about what that sprung out of the Jews and their lies.
Mhm.
But I thought I remember reading something here recently that it came out of like that he had some Jewish teachers come in to the school, and basically he found out that they were like teaching the Talmud and like attacking Christianity, and he thought that they were going to be doing something different, and so his response was just like to just unload basically on their lies about the gospel, and about Christianity and things like that, and how they were perverting things from the Talmud and stuff like that. So I don't know how true that is, or if I'm even remembering correctly.
Carl Truman actually did a good treatment on that, where he covers. I think it's one solid lesson in church history, one that he has. But Luther, I mean, at the end of his life, it was not just those men; it was just a broad diatribe against the Jews. And part of it, I mean, one of the things I liked about how Truman handled it is he looked at it and said, okay, you have to understand, for one, Luther is a man of his time, right? So everything that he's writing for doesn't make it good, doesn't make it biblical or right. However, it's at a time where the magistrate is in control of things like blasphemy laws. And so when they are coming in and teaching blasphemy, he's appealing to the magistrate to do things. And part of what he's appealing for is what we would look at in our day and age and say, okay, that's atrocious. But again, we can look at things with chronological snobbery because we're in, 21st century and say we would never treat people like that. But
We are
put
so
yourself
enlightened.
back in that time period and think realistically, what would you believe differently than you do today? Or how would you act differently?
Right.
Yeah.
Truman's very even-handed there. That's what I liked about all that. But
Yeah.
we totally hijacked Jack's.
I think one of the
list.
Yeah. Right. Sorry, Jack. Yeah. I was
Sorry.
going to
That's
say
all right.
something else about being men of their time, but
Yeah.
People will probably look back on us and say, why did they allow the wholesale slaughter of innocent children
Yes.
and tried to monitor it with policy instead of action?
Yeah.
Some good Christmas bonus
Yeah.
episode. Yeah. Heavy. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Martin Luther's there.
Yeah. He was.
How do you get your
Smith.
invitation back from Martin Luther though? Like,
Yeah, you
sorry.
don't.
maybe you like
don't.
contact his wife and like, I don't know how you want to handle this, but we're just,
Can you?
we don't
talk
have
to him?
enough saucers to seat everyone. So
It turns out Zwingli's going to be there, so he probably doesn't want to come now.
yeah, no, if you really wanted some fire, you could have,
Yeah.
just brought in, Yeah.
He could carve on my table.
Right.
It's a church history joke. Anyway.
Yeah.
Far from the
My
general
second one-
direction of
Can
the
you
devil.
imagine how much that table would be worth if somebody had it still
Yeah.
with the writing on it?
Have
At
you ever
least,
looked?
like
Price, it would be an
$50.
heirloom.
Oh yeah,
It would. Yeah.
You ever looked
Yeah.
at the?
It might be in a church somewhere in
the
Germany.
Martin
It wouldn't
Luther-
surprise me if it were. Yeah.
Some guy just has like a tablecloth over it. They're like, I don't know. This is our announcement table. We just put stuff in it.
Here's the
Yeah.
wall where he threw the inkwell at the devil. I cut this
Yeah.
out a long time ago and put it in my personal collection, but
Okay. We are. All right.
My second one.
Yeah.
William Wilberforce.
that's a
Okay.
good one. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I read. I think I shared with you guys that I read his Metaxas's biography earlier this year on
Mhm.
Wilberforce, Amazing Grace. That book blew my mind. Like I had a general idea of who Wilberforce was.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I read that book and my appreciation for Wilberforce is like through the roof. Just such
Right.
a brilliant
And-
thinker,
Yeah.
courageous
And remind me
man,
some things
witty.
about Wilberforce. I know there was some slave trade.
He basically worked for 20 years to get slave trade abolished
Right. In England. Right.
in England, but
Yeah.
because of the way it worked,
Mhm.
there was like a triangle. So it would be like England, Africa, Americas.
Right.
And when he shut down, the way he did it, it was very clever, but the way he did it politically, it basically shut down the whole thing.
Right.
So in a legal sense.
And was it him that he saw the bill for abolition be approved? Like, it was just like right before he died? Or was it him, or was it somebody else? I might be confusing somebody else.
It happened maybe 10 years before he died. I'm trying to remember. 10 years before he died. But he worked on it for 20 years. Interesting thing about him, though. So you should really, like, I highly recommend Metaxas's book. I've heard from people say he kind of, I don't know, romanticizes him a little bit, which is fine with me. Whatever. I don't need the truth. I just want to tell me what I want to hear.
Yeah, just make me feel
really. But no, just a really brilliant, courageous man. Like to go back to what you said a minute ago, like people look back at us and the way we've dealt with it. Like when I was reading this book, I kept thinking, I've never done anything important in my entire life. Like I kept thinking about all the things, but he took it upon himself, and the people he knew just like, he was like, I have no place. When the Lord saved him, he'd like, I have no place in government. And John Newton was like, no, you need to go do this.
Right.
Like,
and that was probably such an insurmountable thing to begin. Like, who would have thought, like, no, you're not going to end the slave trade. Like, there's no way.
Oh,
like, there's no way that's going to work.
So far against him. Like,
right.
But it was, and I'll share one little tidbit that this isn't in the movie. So if you've seen the movie, I didn't know this until I read the book. So his best friend was the prime minister. And in the movie, it's Benedict Cumberbatch. Helps. Yeah. No, that's the thing, though.
Oh, right.
That's the point I was making.
Right.
He was such a man of integrity. There came a point where his best friend had done something that was slightly shady with somebody else, and it came to light. And it came to a vote. I don't remember the numbers. It was like 250 to 250, and he had to make a vote to like remove his friend. And he voted to remove his best friend.
Oh, yeah.
But when he because of integrity, he was like, it killed him, but he did it. So when he voted out the prime minister, and the next guy came in, the guy that came in, he didn't know this was going to be the case, was like a cousin of his who was fully on line with him. And just the way the thing shuffled, if he hadn't voted out his best friend and voted with integrity, abolition wouldn't have been removed. So for him taking a stand, even against like it really, like his friend didn't talk to him for like 4 years after that or some long period of time. But but for him to take a stand and do the thing of integrity, even though it was really hard, was a key instrumental thing in the abolition of slavery. Yeah. So anyway, Wilberforce, great book, but that guy just impressed me so much.
So Martin Luther, Wilberforce.
And then I had two. I wrote down two thinking that maybe one of you would say one. So what do I do? I'll just say both. Is that cheating? Can I do that?
It's cheating, but
I'll allow it. But maybe one gave the other one a ride.
Yeah.
And
so he's just kind of like,
so it was kind of like, oh, my car broke down, but I got a ride from so-and-so.
So
you guys are eating in there, huh? That'd be really nice to get some food.
Staring in the window.
Man, I'm hungry.
David Brainerd and Tolkien. I put David Brainerd and Tolkien, and I was like conflicted between the two.
Oh, wow. Okay. Gotcha.
Tolkien, I just think would be fascinating to ask him all my questions about Lord of the Rings and
and what it's like being a Catholic.
Yeah, that too. I try and fix that.
Yeah. That would be a great scenario, though, just to put him next to Luther.
Oh, yeah.
Just, like
just kind of see what happens. You're like,
this is. Hey, Tolkien's a bit into Catholics too. Martin, you have some familiarity
with that. A lot
of
words to say about them, don't you?
Right.
Especially the Pope.
Right. How do you feel about the Pope? And then you just sit back, right?
Yeah, and you just watch. Yeah, eat some popcorn. All right, I'm done.
And Wilberforce is like, I don't want to be here right now.
Yeah, I've got more important things to do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I gave up a royal banquet for this, and I'm not having a good time. Yeah.
Can I share one more fun fact about Wilberforce?
Yeah, definitely. All
right. So at the end of his life, his kids. This is just again, I'm eager to read more stuff about him. But anyway, he was a nobleman, very wealthy his entire life. He just was born into it. His kids, one of his kids wanted to like invest in a dairy farm, so he gave a ton of money to his kid, and it like went south. So at the end of his life, he was like homeless. After all this stuff, he was in Parliament forever. the end of the last like 5 years of his life, he was homeless and he ended up moving around living with his kids. But when you read his commentary, he's like just oozed contentment. He's like, I'm so thankful this happened because I get to spend more time with my children and my wife. And
Right.
anyway,
That's actually my retirement plan.
at mine too.
Invest
To
in
be
a
homeless
dairy
and
farm
just-
and go bankrupt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Just
then
live a few years
with my
from
kids.
kid to kid.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
All right.
Okay, my 3. So this is pretty, I mean, I don't know. I feel like your guys's were really like unique. Mine's pretty white bread compared. So Charles Spurgeon,
Great.
I would
Yeah.
definitely have.
That's a
I
great choice.
Yeah.
debated putting him
It's-
on there. Yeah,
It's
he crossed my
too
mind.
easy. It's too easy, but I couldn't avoid it. I had to do it. So I would have picked Charles Spurgeon. I also would have picked. So here's something else, because we didn't talk about this, and I just figured that in this mystical land where we can have these people over, that we all speak the same language. But I did stick to English speakers only, because I was like, I can't talk
okay.
to Martin Luther. I don't know German. Anyway, Jonathan Edwards would be the other one. But here's my caveat. I want Jonathan Edwards' entire family. So I want his wife and
Wow.
all of his kids too, make it a big family.
It's a big ask.
Yeah,
That
right,
is.
right. Yeah. So
Much more
a
than
lot of
Tolkien
extra.
just kind of hitching along for some
right,
hors d'oeuvres.
right. Which is why I was fine with Tolkien driving. Yeah, because and just showing up, exactly. No, so Charles Spurgeon, Jonathan Edwards, and this one's cheating a little bit, but my grandmother. So
Oh, that's great.
who has passed away now, and I often think about she was a believer in I would say very she was a strong believer, but a very elementary believer at the same time. Just
Yeah.
things. And I remember growing up as a kid that she prayed for us kids, her grandkids, every night. And I often think about my oldest daughter is named after her. She passed away when I was in high school. And I often think about, I really wish Grandma could see what I would view as the fruit of, one aspect of it is the fruit of fateful prayer in my life and in the life of my siblings, and then her, great grandchildren and things
Yes.
like that. I think she would just she would just get a kick out of that. I would probably end up ignoring Jonathan Edwards and Charles Spurgeon and just spending the whole time with my grandmother. So
Somehow I think Spurgeon and Edwards would be okay with that.
yeah, right, yeah,
I really
yeah.
do.
So that was my those are my 3.
I like
Those are
how
good.
Blake goes into that. He's like, I picked mine are pretty much like white bread at this point, just very milk toast, and then he gives this heartwarming story of his faithful grandmother.
Yeah,
Jack and I are like
right.
cool theologian dudes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna Indian leg wrestle Martin Luther after dinner. Yeah, right.
yeah.
I totally
I bet I
think
could
he
beat
would do that,
Athanasius
too.
in an arm wrestling contest. Yeah, no. So no, that was my 3. I debated if I could have picked a 4th, I would have picked Hudson Taylor, the Inland China missionary, but he was busy doing other things. So
Yeah.
That's good. Those are really good.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
So
there's
there's our 3, 3, and 3.
Yeah.
3 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Bonus content.
All right.
You have
Trifecta.
3
Bonus
heretics
content.
over for dinner.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well, we can wrap it up. So I think this will probably be, unless one of us get kind of a wildfire and decide to do another bonus episode.
Yeah.
This will probably be the last episode for 2023, right?
hey,
I would
think so.
expect.
it's exciting.
Yeah, it's a fun year. So we will be back in 2024 and we'll wrap up season 2. And we've got some ideas baking, simmering for season 3 as we think about a theme. So I'm not going to spill the cookies now, but we've got some ideas.
Yeah. Don't spill the milk and cookies, but we
Yeah.
got some good stuff cooking. Yeah. Right. Well, hey, Merry Christmas, everyone. For
Merry
those of you
Christmas,
who
yes.
participate. Boys, thankful for you, as always. This is a really fun adventure. I look forward to what the Lord has for us next year. And
Yeah. Likewise, gents. Merry Christmas and to all a good night. Yeah. Good.